Hey, so every often we do this. We kind of do like a revisit or chat about a service that's offered. We've done it for cloud streaming stuff. We've done it for PlayStation Plus, and it's been a while since we've revisited Xbox's Game Pass subscription. So, we figured we'd take a look and talk about it for how it's been going for the last year. So for 2025, whatever. Like if you're a consumer just jumping in, how is it? Is it worth it? Obviously, there are bigger conversations around Xbox right now, with their hardware, with some of their issues, and of course, digital versus physical ownership, and even just Game Pass in the context of the entire industry and how games are funded and developed. But today, if you're someone just interested in Game Pass as a consumer, let's talk about that. This isn't an ad or a sponsored video or anything, just to be clear. The question we're asking is, has Microsoft and Xbox delivered on their ambitions with this? And I'd say mostly yeah. So just so you know, this service is technically 8 years old. It launched in June of 2017 and arguably ramped up in 2018 when they announced first party games day and date on it. Now, since that launch, a lot more has been added to the service, and prices have gone up quite a bit, and Xbox Live Gold has been phased out, and multiple tiers have been introduced. So, to recap here, let's talk about these tiers for a second. Standard is $10 US a month. This is essentially the closest to Xbox Live, right? It gets you online multiplayer, some discounts, and a quote, curated catalog of over 25 games on console. There are some good games here. For $10, you're getting a good amount of gaming in. But, it's good, but this isn't like full freedom, right? So that's where Xbox Game Pass Standard comes in. This is what a lot more people go for. This is $15 US a month. You get all the core stuff, and then this gets you access to the full Game Pass catalog. And it's a lot of games, as you can probably see here, clearly. At this point, Xbox Game Pass is fully fleshed out. You got a lot of genres, you got new and old games, and to use the hackneyed phrase, I think it has something for everybody. But seriously, yeah. And then there's the big one, Game Pass Ultimate. For $20 US a month, it gets you all that stuff, new games, day and date at launch, both Xbox first party and sometimes third party. Some extra digital goodies, access to this on PC, and also cloud streaming. Also, an EA Play membership, which essentially boils down to you getting access to even more games on top. Now, on PC, there's a regular PC Game Pass, which is $12 a month, which gets you all the games, new games on day one, and EA Play. And then also, there's full Ultimate, which means you'll get all that you want on PC as well as console. So if you have both and you're willing to splurge, then this is where. So yes, prices are high if you look at them, and especially if you look at them in context with other things, it's pretty competitive with all of your other subscriptions you might be paying for, These are up there with Netflix Standard, which I believe is $18 US a month, whereas Disney Plus without ads is $16 a month. Some people get Disney Plus bundled in with like Hulu, and then you don't even really realize how much you're spending overall. Now, remember cord cutting or getting rid of cable to just pay a couple of subscriptions and have streaming stuff? At this point, I feel like we're all spending more than we were on cable. But anyway, I digress. That's besides the point. Where I think the value is for the type of player that is just a glutton for video games. Look, I might be stating the obvious here, but if you don't care about anything other than just playing as many games as possible for as small amount of money as possible, and you don't care about, not owning digital or physically, then yeah, this is probably a no-brainer, man. If you're dropping under $20 a month and playing multiple games, to many, that's way more attractive than spending $60 a month at a Best Buy getting one new game a month. Look, I know our audience, we listen to you guys, a lot of us here are pretty hardcore. We like physical ownership. We don't want to feel like games are just something you scroll past on a catalog screen like Netflix. But the reality is many people out there, they don't care. They just want to spend a little bit of money and then just get a shit ton of games at their fingertips. And I think above all else, Xbox Game Pass has that offering on lock. So since this is like a 2025 or, the last year or so review, let's take a look back at what we've been enjoying. The obvious for a lot of people is Call of Duty. Having that subscription and getting access to that new Call of Duty day one, that's a big deal for a lot of people. And to be frank, A lot of people basically only buy Call of Duty every year, maybe a few other things here and there, but that's about it. So now, instead of spending anywhere from $60 to $80 on Call of Duty, now they get it as part of a subscription package. And Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was arguably one of the better Call of Duties in a minute. It had the multiplayer figured out, the offering was good, people really seemed to dig it and also stick with it for a while. And also, there was just a good-ass campaign in there as well. And even more recently, the benefits have been pretty good overall. The new Souls-like game that is really solid, Wuchang Fallen Feathers, that's on there. And that's not like an Xbox exclusive game or anything. Like, that game came out and it was on Game Pass right away. That game has been a fun, challenging, good time, as you'd expect. Xbox Game Studios and Obsidian game Grounded 2 also just recently launched, so multiplayer survival is covered there. And speaking of Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda and Machine Games' Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a must-play, in my opinion. And of course, Game Pass got that on launch day as well. In the last year, we also got good coverage of indie and AA offerings as well. The big one for me, Expedition 33, available on day one here as part of an Xbox partnership. Like, it's a damn good game. I did the before you buy on this, but in case you missed it, incredible story, god tier music, cool characters, and fun and surprisingly challenging turn-based battles. So if you love Final Fantasy or RPGs, you should get in on this. Game Pass or wherever else, whatever. Also, just a few months back, Doom: The Dark Ages. I think this game is great. I really enjoyed playing it. I think that it's not a complete perfect Doom game, like not an open and shut case, but I still had so much fun playing through the entirety of the campaign. It's nice and challenging. It's crunchy. It's got a bunch of cool new weapons. And along with that, I mean, you know me, I love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and that launched day one on Game Pass. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, the newest kind of remake, remaster collection. It was there, ready to go. So if we're just talking recent AAA games, there's a lot of value. Even if you're only into like one or two of the games I mentioned, that kind of pays for itself right there. And then, of course, on the indie side, things are covered pretty well with a pretty deep backlog of like must-play indie games that either just have critical acclaim, awards, or like a little bit of a cult fandom. There's a lot here. And then recently, things are still pretty consistent, like Wheel World. If you're looking for a kind of like open biking adventure game, it's surprisingly charming and pretty quirky. Also kind of chill. Xbox Cloud streaming has also proven to be pretty solid. I've been critical of cloud streaming for quite some time. We have tested out all the major guys, all the major players in this world, including Google Stadia, rest in peace. But at this point, Xbox really has the tech pretty figured out. It's worked well, it's very seamless, games fire up way quicker than they used to, and we've been playing Gears 5 and Call of Duty on this thing when we want. And the fact that it's expanded and now we can stream these games in so many different places, you know, on mobile, on consoles, on a computer, wherever, on TVs now. Xbox has really just put forward the platform building thing incredibly well. And part of that platform building, like a big picture with that whole thing, is Game Pass and a Game Pass subscription. So it's been nice to play these games anywhere you want, at any time, have your saves transfer over, all that stuff has been really seamless. We gotta give them credit. Even jumping back and forth from playing a game on Xbox to then playing it on PC has worked pretty well. Of course, there's always issues with Microsoft Windows and stuff like that, but overall, a pretty good experience. And then just looking ahead to the future, of course, we have the fall holiday gaming season coming up soon. We don't know everything that's going to be dropping on there right away, but there are new games coming. And then most notably, like I mentioned before with Call of Duty, it's the elephant in the room. This time now with Call of Duty Black Ops 7. People are going to be able to get this, presumably day and date, done and dusted, just with their Game Pass subscription, as well as the upcoming Gears of War re-release. With Xbox going multi-platform now, people are going to be able to play this new Gears of War on Xbox and then cross-platform multiplayer play with other people playing this new Gears of War on PlayStation. Isn't it crazy how things change? Outer Worlds 2 is right around the corner if you're looking for an Obsidian-ass style RPG. So anyway, like I'm just trying to say, like Xbox Game Pass isn't like a dead subscription where it's like a dead stop. This is what you get right now. There are still some other things on the horizon. There's still some other Xbox games that I'm looking forward to that it feels like we're going to be waiting even longer for, like Fable and State of Decay 3. That's a whole other story. I really think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to you as a player and your preferences and your consuming habits, your spending habits, all that. Because some people think Xbox Game Pass is too expensive. Some people who only play games exclusively through Game Pass think that it's a killer deal. Personally, I'm still resistant to some of it because I just like buying physical games. When a new game is out, I like to go and buy it or order it online, have it show up to me, and then I have a cool little game I put on my shelf. Yeah, I know at this point it's really about the plastic box, but still. Some players, like myself, still just want that choice, but again, if you're going for value, Xbox Game Pass is good. I know that sounds like an ad, but like I'm kind of just stating the obvious at this point. With Xbox Game Pass and mainstream audiences, does this beg the question, are people going to get hooked on paying $10 or $15 or $20 a month and playing a bunch of high-end games and never ever wanting to spend full price on a video game ever again? And is that going to affect like how games are funded, how games are published, how games are made, how games are sold? We don't know. But as hardcore players in our own little bubble, we grumble about this stuff, we speculate about the news, but at the end of the day, like I said, at this point, I think Xbox has Game Pass pretty figured out. Prices are going up on everything. Prices have gone up on Xbox Game Pass. I don't know if prices continue to increase, if it's still going to feel as worth it. I don't know, but for me personally, I have had an Xbox Game Pass subscription for quite some time now. I play on all platforms, so I tend to go to Game Pass just to download and play specific select things. But I also get into this weird habit of like spending a late night, like going on Xbox Game Pass, scrolling through and downloading a bunch of stuff that I never actually end up playing. It can't be just me, so let me know in the comments. And honestly, let us know in the comments anything about Xbox Game Pass. We'd love to chat with you. Obviously, this was just a quick little dive into what Game Pass offers and how it is in 2025, because we haven't talked about it in a while. If you like this video and you want us to maybe dive into PlayStation Plus soon again with their tiers and their offerings, it's been a minute since we've talked about that. Let us know. Let us know what you think about the big picture of Game Pass and how it may change the industry. Let me know how it boils down to maybe just your thoughts on subscription prices and, dollar to time spent ratio, like how you feel about that. Let's talk anything Game Pass down in the comments. If you like this video, clicking the like button helps us out. We really appreciate that. And if you're new, consider subscribing, maybe hitting that notification bell because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.